Thank you. And I'd be remiss if I didn't note that we are, of course, during the eclipse right now, and we even saw a little dimming in the House of Commons. However, unfortunately, that won't be the biggest cover-up we talk about today. Paper? Yeah. My apologies to the interpreters. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, sir. It's also my great honor and privilege to split my time with a member from Mégantic Le Havre. Not bad, eh? Not bad. So we'll be, of course, talking about the privilege motion, which is the subject of debate today. I'm gonna start by just going through some of the facts with respect to, and specifically quoting some of the AG's report of some of the scurrilous accusations that are in here that are really quite disturbing, and certainly there's more to come to sort of give us the context. And then I'm going to discuss about the importance of parliamentary supremacy and the need for our body to, in order to fulfill its democratic duties, to get the information that we require. So we'll start by just reading from paragraph 1.18 in the AG's report on the ArriveCAN application. So 1.18, we found that the financial records were not well maintained by Canada Border Service Agency. We were unable to determine the precise cost for the ArriveCAN application because of the poor documentation and weak controls at the Canada Border Service Agency. We estimated the application cost approximately $59.5 million, or in shorthand, I will, for the rest of the speech, call it $60 million. That's $60 million. That is a large amount of money. This from an original contract that was originally set to cost somewhere between $80,000 to $160,000, and it ballooned up to $60 million. But perhaps just as disturbing as a $60 million price tag is the fact that the AG, the Auditor General, who has an incredible team, and they have literally lifetimes, probably combined hundreds of years of service in trying to investigate, trying to fact find, and they, despite their incredible abilities, they were unable to get through the poor record keeping and the terrible lack of detail that was contained within the Canada Border Service Agency. I believe the Auditor General in subsequent testimony even said that she had never seen bookkeeping this bad in her entire career. This is many, many years of being a professional auditor. And so they couldn't even get to what the exact number was, but they estimated here $60 million. So it could be more. We just don't know that at this point. Then I'll flip to a little further in the report, and we'll go to what is paragraph 1.39. The Canada Border Service Agency informed us that GC Strategies was awarded the contract on the basis of a proposal that it submitted. Agency officials told us that they had discussions with 3 potential contractors about submitting a proposal to develop the ArriveCAN application. We found that the agency received a proposal from 1 of 3 potential contractors, but this proposal, get this, was not from GC Strategies. There was no evidence that the agency considered a proposal or any similar document from GC Strategies for this non-competitive contract. So they awarded a contract on a non-existent proposal. They initially said, CBSA initially said there were 3 different proposals that were put out there, but they only found, the Auditor General only found 1 of those proposals, and not from the eventual winner of this strategy, of this proposals, of this competition or non-competitive process, I should say. And so, as far as I know, that proposal still has not been tracked down. And so it's amazing that there is a $60 million contract awarded on a missing or just simply non-existent contract. And once again, this is incredibly troublesome. And you know, we've heard actually from all members in this House that we are all shocked, and I think we share that almost unanimously. How could this happen? That a $60 million contract would simply disappear. The public service may face criticism on a variety of issues, but one of the things that I rarely ever hear about the public service is that they have a lack of record keeping or a lack of data in the public service. And so, as the Auditor General said, she's never seen bookkeeping that bad. And then we move on to continued discussion of GC strategies, which I believe it's been reported that it's actually Government of Canada strategies, which I guess says a lot in its own self. So we'll go to 1.58. Some of the requirements or eligibility criteria were extremely narrow, which likely prevented competition. For example, bidders were required to have been awarded 3 informatic contracts with the Government of Canada within the last 18 months, with a greater value of $10 million. I don't think they'd be too many of those. But we also found that the reasonableness per diem rates in the bid was insufficiently assessed. Per diem rates were assessed on the basis of 3 non-competitive contracts, which the Canada Border Service Agency issued during the pandemic. In our opinion, the agency should not have used these prior non-competitive contracts as a reference point. It's just so odd. Like, how do you define the request for proposal process so narrowly that there is a handful, maybe even just one firm that is required that could possibly apply for this position. It really is the amount of suspicion that comes from this is incredible. So just to say that again, one of the conditions for the bid for the ArriveCAN app was that have been awarded 3 informatic contracts with the Government of Canada over the last 18 months with a value greater of $10 million. It certainly appears to me, just a simple guy from Orono, Ontario, but it appears to this guy that in fact it was almost targeted directly at one particular firm. In this case, GS Strategies there. And so we see the testimony of Mr. Firth, and I was one of, I imagine, thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of Canadians who tuned in to some of that committee coverage in front of OGO, I believe it was, and I could not believe this gentleman's audacity, of which he talked about. He sort of acted as if, to be candid, that this was some type of unfairness that was done to him. The reality is that we have allegation after allegation after allegation. We have $60 million spent without yet a really solid explanation. We have firms being paid $1,000 a day or an hour or more, and this has caused incredible upset for Canadians who are struggling to get by, Canadians who are seeing record high usage of food banks, and so they want answers. And so that's what gets back to where I want to end up here, and that's at the very heart of democracy. What separates this country from many others is our democratic principles and our commitment to the parliamentary Westminster system. It's this Parliament that guarantees the rights and freedoms of Canadians from coast to coast. And so when we say privilege, I almost think it's miscast. It's not my privilege. It's not any of the members of Parliament's privilege. It's Canadians' privilege. It's because of the years of sacrifice, our history through wars and otherwise, where we've stood up for freedom and democracy, that has given us the ability to voice our opinions. And you know, I still hear, and I know that I imagine all MPs do, that sometimes the people of this great land are concerned and frustrated at their lack of voice, their lack of power. Well, I certainly go to work every day to act for them, to give them a voice. And Canadians want to know what happened to their $60 million to this app. How did a two-person firm make $20 million? How do they possibly justify this, given in the context of the AG saying that this is the worst bookkeeping, record keeping that she has ever seen in her many-year history, and that Canadians deserve answers, Madam Speaker, and that's what we're asking for.
Questions and comments. The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary, the Government House Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As the member knows, is that the government's actually very much open and wants to see and looks forward to Mr. Frith coming before or being at the bar. The issue is going to be how it is that we have questions and answers type of thing. How do we heighten the sense of accountability? But the comment that I'm interested in is the member might not necessarily be aware of this, but when his leader was the Parliamentary Secretary to the Treasury Board, there was a $400 million scandal with ETS, and it was a procurement scandal. And I'm wondering if the leader of the Conservative Party would have done his job back then and not had been successful in the cover-up, that maybe we might have seen some rules that were actually changed that might have prevented this. Is that a fair comment on my part?
The Honourable Member for Northumberland, Peterborough South.
So whenever I have two children, 8 and a 10-year-old, and so when occasionally they do something wrong, it's amazing the 8 and 10-year-old will immediately point to the other one when they've been guilty. It's called whataboutism, and that's the base level of these liberal politics. They will deflect, they will deny, and they will do anything to take responsibility. Well, the Arrive scam, it's this government's fault, and we're going to get answers.
Questions et commentaires. Questions and comments. The Honourable Member for Skeena Muckley Valley.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to my friend down the way for his speech. I think we find common cause in this motion that's before us. Part of this motion is about the testimony of GC Strategies at committee, which was unsatisfactory and not consistent with the rules of parliamentary privilege. But I think there's a larger issue at play here, which is that unless Parliament asserts its specific privileges, we risk getting to a place where no witnesses have to come to committee and provide responses to our answers. And we see this in other cases as well. I came out of a committee meeting today where witnesses were less than forthcoming with information about government programs and the fate of Canada Post. Does he share my concern that unless the supremacy of Parliament is reestablished, that we will continue to see the ability of committees to get answers for Canadians, the Canadians we represent, undermined?
Honourable Member for Northumberland, Peterborough South.
I agree.
Questions and comments. The Honourable Member for Sandwich Gold Violet.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and to the Honourable Member for Northumberland, Peterborough South, and to the Member for Skeena Muckley Valley. I think we are really at one of those rare moments that I love in this place when we're in violent agreement. We should be seeing witnesses respect Parliament, answer questions clearly. And it's pretty clear to me that, well, and this may veer from where the member from Northumberland, Peterborough South is coming from, that something very wrong has happened within the functionality of the civil service that this could happen at all, because I don't see any long fingers of partisan engagement. What I see is base incompetence and a chance to make a quick buck, which should never, ever be allowed in the culture of our civil service. So bring it on, and let's get Mr. Firth in here.
The Honourable Member for Northumberland, Peterborough South.
Thank you very much to the member for her points. And I think, in fact, I know the vast majority of our civil servants are working their tails off to do what they can to make Canada a better country. This is a big challenge, though, that seems to, as they say, the fish rots from the head down. And we really need to get to the bottom of this to find out and to make sure that we do not have any more issues such as this.
L'honorable député de Beauport.
The Honourable Member for Beauport-Limoilou. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Indeed, this is a situation where in committee on many occasions and through many questions, the witness refused to respond, and his main reason was his fear that what he might say might be held against him because certain members of the committee and the media reveal what is said in committee in the media. And so he was worried. So this situation should never happen again. So would it be a good idea to change some rules around our procedure to ensure that even if there are leaks to the media, that testimony should remain protected? The honourable member.
I think I would answer that. I'm open to any discussions which might make the process better. But I think the reality is that a lot of this should be public. Canadian taxpayers deserve the right to know where their millions of dollars are going. If it's not if it's not essential to the national security or other related issues to keep it privacy, the Canadian public should know what's going on.